When you think about wind power, you probably picture a few spinning turbines on a grassy hill somewhere, right? But here's a twist. Some of the world's biggest wind farms aren't on land at all. They're far out at sea where waves crash, storms rage, and giant machines silently turn ocean winds into electricity for millions of homes. But how is it even possible to build and run a power plant in the middle of the ocean? In today's video, we're pulling back the curtain on offshore wind farms, how they're built, how they survive brutal conditions, and why these steel giants might hold the key to a greener future. So stay tuned to our channel, The Curious Corner. First of all, why put wind turbines in the ocean in the first place? Well, wind energy on land works well, but land is limited, and not every region is windy enough. Out at sea, the wind is stronger and more consistent. There are no mountains, buildings, or forests to slow it down. Plus, offshore wind farms can be massive, far bigger than land-based ones, and built far from cities, so people don't complain about the noise or view. One large offshore wind farm can power over 1 million homes without burning a single drop of fossil fuel. Tapping into this powerful wind is anything but simple. Let's look at the turbines themselves. Offshore wind turbines are gigantic. A single blade can be longer than a football field, and when a blade sweeps through the air, the tip can move faster than a speeding car, up to 300 kilometers per hour. All of this sits on top of a tower that can be as tall as a 70-story building, and the entire structure must survive storms, saltwater corrosion, and huge waves for 25 years or more. Now the real question is, how do they stay standing? Most offshore turbines are fixed to the seabed. There are a few main methods. Monopile foundations, giant steel tubes driven deep into the ocean floor. Jacket foundations, steel lattice frames like offshore oil rigs used in deeper water. Gravity bases, massive concrete structures that simply sit on the seabed, using their weight to stay in place. For deeper waters, beyond about 60 meters, engineers are now building floating wind turbines. These float like giant anchored buoys, held in place by cables and massive underwater weights. Floating turbines unlock huge areas of deep ocean with stronger winds, opening a whole new frontier. Installing an offshore wind farm is a project worthy of a science fiction movie. First, specialized ships called jack-up vessels sail to the site. These ships have legs that lower down to the seabed and lift the entire vessel out of the water, creating a stable platform. Monopiles are hammered into the seabed by huge hydraulic hammers. Each hammer strike can be heard for kilometers underwater, which is why construction is carefully timed to avoid harming marine life. Once the foundation is ready, another vessel brings the tower sections. The nacelle, that's the box that holds the generator, and the enormous blades. Assembly at sea is delicate and dangerous. High winds or rough seas can halt work for days. It can take months or even years to build a single wind farm. Okay, so the turbines are spinning, but how does that electricity get back to your home? Each turbine generates electricity at about 690 volts, which runs down cables inside the tower to the seabed. There, underwater cables connect all the turbines like a giant spider web, sending power to an offshore substation. The substation steps up the voltage, often to 150,000 volts or more, for long-distance transmission. High-voltage underwater cables then carry the electricity back to shore, sometimes dozens of kilometers away, where it connects to the national grid. Although if there's no wind or too much wind, wind turbines are designed to shut down if winds get dangerously strong, like during a storm, to protect themselves. When the wind is too weak, they simply don't generate electricity. That's why wind energy needs to be balanced with other sources, like batteries, hydroelectric dams, or even backup gas power plants, to keep the lights on 24/7. Offshore wind is booming. Turbines are getting bigger, moving further offshore, and floating technology is opening up deep waters that were impossible before. By 2050, experts believe offshore wind could supply almost 1/5 of global electricity, cutting millions of tons of carbon emissions each year. But it's not without challenges. Building at sea is expensive and risky, and protecting marine life is a constant concern. Still, for many countries, offshore wind is one of the best hopes for a clean energy future. So next time you see a video of giant wind turbines standing proudly at sea, remember, they're not just spinning blades. They're silent giants helping power our lives, one gust at a time. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel, The Curious Corner, for more fascinating content.